on more of like a fundamental news basis, we had another announcement from Anthropic today. Um, and I don't even know how much of it was new. I guess the fact that it can use your actual computer, because Cowork could already spin up a Linux, its own Linux computer, and it could already do everything on a computer, on its own Linux, on a virtual computer. So now the fact that it can use your computer, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like any actual news today, but it caused all of SaaS to sell off. Like I think the whole SaaS index is down like 4% today or something. Anthropic is just scaring everyone. I mean, technology is just moving really fast, and that's scaring everyone. And the way that I think about it is because the speed of change has accelerated, it has made uncertainty greater. It has made the realm, the range of possible outcomes greater. Um, and if you're young and ambitious and excited about the future and optimistic, like that makes you quite excited to buy these software companies that are going to be doing work instead of helping manage work, or as well as helping manage work, or an automation company that's now 10 times better at automation. Like the bigger upside range excites you. But if you're 60, 70, I mean, probably even just, in the later half of your years, the bigger uncertainty scares you more than it excites you, because just like the rapid speed of change means that there's now way more upside, it means that there could potentially be more downside, right? Because the world is changing so fast, so you don't know exactly what the future is going to hold. So that increases fear, if you're trying to protect wealth more than you're trying to make money, um, or if you're not as connected to how fast stuff is changing, if you're not actually using Claude Code and stuff like that, and you're hearing people talk about, OpenClaw and Claude Code, and you don't really, it's like this big scary boogeyman that you don't actually know on a personal basis. So it can be your biggest fear, right? If you don't know exactly what it is, and you don't know exactly how it affects the businesses that you're invested in. So the speed of change, kind of ironically, the fact that there's now more upside means that there's also more fear, because the speed of change also means that there's more downside. So that's kind of the world that we're in, which is just so interesting. The fact that someone else can do something doesn't make everyone who's currently doing stuff in your business, like, doesn't make them worthless. Like they're actually doing it. So the fact that Claude can click things on your computer does not make UiPath's current RPA bots that are currently automating and providing hundreds of millions of dollars of savings inside their current customers. It doesn't make those processes worthless. It doesn't make them worth ripping out. I had a few points. One about no orchestration, the potential of that, and then another. I just wanted to talk about Claude Code a little bit. But I think that the chance that there's no orchestration, I mean, it's pretty much none. I mean, every single smart system that exists, just from a fundamental basis, I don't care if you're thinking about a human being or an animal or a government, a community, every single system that has any sort of intelligence and any sort of vision or purpose has some amount of orchestration in it. It's a it's a requirement. You can't have a smart system without orchestrating many different parts. And then people are also just like, I think, overgeneralizing what it means to have intelligence, because not all intelligence is created equal, and the best intelligence doesn't make every lower intelligence completely worthless. You still, even if your business has PhDs in it, the PhDs are oftentimes a lot more expensive than the high school intern, and you have work to do in your business that you don't want to pay the PhD salary to do, right? You want the intern to do some of the paper pushing and stuff. Now, obviously, we're talking about the future. There's probably going to be a lot less paper pushing, and AI is going to be able to do a lot of that. But just like the fundamental point, if you're just thinking about this like top down from a theoretical level, the fact that there's higher intelligence does not make lower intelligence useless. It just causes lower intelligence to have to charge less. So if you think about this now, bringing it back to business orchestration, what that means is like AI is going to keep getting smarter, no doubt. And there likely will be an AI intelligence in the future that's smart enough that it could do your entire job if you just laid out like all the rules in your business. It could do it to some extent without an orchestrator. I think AI will get smart enough, but you have to think about the cost of this. Like, the most intelligent AI systems are going to be the most expensive per token. Every second of thought from these systems is going to be the most expensive. So you're just like a PhD in your business, you're going to want to put them only on the most difficult tasks, the tasks that actually require like that level of intelligence, because it's expensive to wield that higher level of intelligence. For small repetitive things, you're going to want the cheapest solution for that. So you're really going to want AI and RPA in your system, because RPA is so much cheaper, and RPA just stands for robotic process automation. It's the repetitive tasks that are done the same way every time, and they essentially become tools. They become little fingers or arms for the AI brain. And what it's going to do is what it's going to mean is that UiPath's system is going to be far more cost effective than wielding OpenClaw, where the highest intelligence is doing every task every time, and it has to kind of like rethink through processes that it's done before and like use a bunch of tokens for them when they're quite simple. So people are just like oversimplifying what automation even means, and they're missing the complexity of it all, and the cost of it all, and how companies are actually going to think about deploying it. And the chance that orchestration actually goes away is none if you look at nature. And then if you think about cost, because you're going to want to wield cheaper intelligences, you're going to want higher intelligences orchestrating it, or rules orchestrating those lower level intelligences. And then talking about Claude, so I think people really miss. I tweeted out today that in in a recent interview that came out a few days ago with Daniel Dines, I just watched today for the first time. He talked about this in the earnings call as well, how they're making UiPath usable by coding agents. And I think people underestimate don't actually understand what that means. So I've been building a stock researching app with Claude Code the last few months, and really I've been getting into it a lot the past few weeks, which is why I haven't been tweeting with as much velocity as I previously did. And Claude Code can interact with your host, with your database, with your authenticator, with your payment solution. So with Stripe, with Vercel, with GitHub, with Supabase for authentication. And your AI agent, your coding agent, literally, like, you sign up for your subscription, and then the coding agent can do everything, right? Like it can do all of the interaction on those apps for you, so that you never have to go to those apps again. You never have to go to those web pages again. However, Claude Code signed me up for a ton of subscriptions I didn't have previously. Like, Claude Code signed me up to multiple different market APIs. Claude Code signed me up to Stripe. Claude Code signed me up to Vercel. Claude Code signed me up to GitHub. Claude Code signed me up to Supabase, or whatever that one is called. And I have all of these subscriptions I didn't have previously. So instead of Claude Code eating all other software, Claude Code actually created revenue that a bunch of other software companies never would have had if I wasn't able to code with an AI agent. So what Daniel Dines is saying is that UiPath, it's going to become another one of those systems like Stripe, like Vercel, where your Claude Code agent, when you tell it, hey, build me an automation, it can say, hey, I can, if you want this to run like at enterprise scale with governance and stuff, I can build your automation on UiPath for you. And it will literally interact with UiPath on the back end, and it will do the process mining. It will build your RPA robots. It will build your AI agents, and then it will build your Maestro orchestrations. All of that will be possible for your Claude Code agent. I think people are completely misunderstanding or just like not grasping what Daniel Dines is saying by UiPath's entire platform changing its whole focus from being used by humans to being used by coding agents. And I mean, in this interview, he said, like, it will take time to deployment, which is like time to value, from months or weeks to hours. And like what that will mean for the deal flow and for like an average everyday person to potentially even use UiPath. And guess what? Sometimes when you're using Claude Code, you know so little about what Claude Code is doing that it makes decisions for the human that the human doesn't even really know they're making. Like very fundamental structural decisions about how the app is made and what the architecture is going to be. Claude Code will just like make those decisions for a human if they don't specify it, if they don't know enough about it. So if they execute on this well enough, like I don't know what the future holds. But it's possible where there's a future where you literally have people building automations on UiPath through Claude Code that aren't even really knowing that they're choosing UiPath. They just maybe told the agent that they needed it to be secure or something. So Claude Code just decided to like build within Maestro, or something like that. Now this is just speculation here. Obviously, this last part is just speculation. But this is a CEO that knows what's going on, right? He's on the cutting edge and he's pivoting quickly and they're releasing products fast. So the chance that they become obsolete, I think is pretty much none. Yet that seems to be the main narrative that's being priced in right now, which is why I still think there's like a ton of opportunity here, and at least a 10x is more likely than a dud.